Welcome to another OCD Recovery Instagram Live. I'm going to be talking about the theme Sensorimotor OCD because it gets asked about a lot. I've done one or two videos, I think, on this channel about Sensorimotor OCD, but I thought I would cover it in a little bit more detail. So basically what happens with this theme, with this thought, is forget the context of the word themes at the moment, because we often get too caught up in that and start getting concerned. Oh my God, I've got some thought that's locked on. This thought's different. This one's going to be stuck forever, and stuff like that. But it's not. All thoughts, all OCD thoughts, are just concepts that we've created in our head, that are ideas, fears that we've created. They're not particular sort of individual mental health concerns. They are just thoughts that have locked on because we're scared. We've just had a very quick reaction to them, being scared of them, but then to get them to release, we often need to, in most cases, get under with a bit more of a deeper level of acceptance. So we can see it is not scary even in that instance because we get stuck. And especially in life, real events can come along and different things that can throw us off, where if we don't have a better understanding of acceptance, just changing our relationship with anxiety, the same as Claire Weeks and Paul David talk about in their books, are not as simple as that. So we do need to get under it with a bit more detail. So sensorimotor is specifically one like that we need to do that with. With sensorimotor OCD, what happens is you have a situation where you have become scared of thoughts in your head. You've become scared of having a particular thought and it playing itself over and over again in your mind forever. And that is what you're scared of, okay? So you are very much scared of that. That has become the problem in itself, that you are now scared of a sensation. This doesn't, not a thought, sorry, not a thought. You're scared of a sensation. So like, you're scared of, for example, concentrating on your saliva forever, or concentrating on your breathing forever, or concentrating on the sensation of sneezing or blinking, or any of these kind of sensations that we feel in our head, processes that go on without our involvement, the same as breathing and a heartbeat goes on without our involvement in them. But then when we start trying to get involved in them, then that's where we get ourselves into trouble. So with sensorimotor, what happens is you feel that sensation, and the sensation of OCD locks on in there, in itself. It gets locked on in a loop into that. So that's where it gets in. So you feel like you're being sort of internally tortured by that sensation of noticing your saliva, or internally tortured by the sensation of blinking, or internally tortured by the sensation of any of these sensations. And what happens with that is the primary driver that's going on is that you are terrified of this persisting for the rest of your life, not being able to get out of it, nobody understanding it, and then you being stuck sort of eternally trapped in the sensation of a blinking or so on. And that becomes the problem. You become so scared of being stuck in that cycle. It's your fear of fear that's fueling it under the surface. And then you think, you go from therapist to therapist thinking, I'm never going to get better. No one's even heard of sensorimotor. How am I ever going to recover? And that's what happens. It was one that I found very challenging for a long time, because I remember sitting in a bath, for example, and thinking, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this situation? Because it's not like there is an outward compulsion going on that I can cut down. So that became a problem for me, because now I didn't have an outward compulsion. I was thinking, God, I am really stuck. I've done so many other things to get better, and now I'm latched with this situation and I can't see a way out. Well, all that was fueling it was fear of being stuck in it. Now let's imagine I was stuck in it, and this is what I did. I thought, well, let's imagine I am stuck in it. How much am I really noticing it every day? I'm noticing it for a few hours, or maybe a day. Actually, we think it's every second, every minute. It isn't. It's for maybe, say, 3-4 hours a day that we're noticing it. And we're always trying to back away from it. But when we actually try and move towards it, go into it, it loses its power. But the problem is we've been doing so much to get away from it. That's why it's got a grip. So you've got to literally bring it on. You've got to say, just come on, do as much as you want. The brain gets bored of it as you move towards it. But the main driver subtly under the surface is, even when you're going towards it, you become scared of it being there for the rest of your life. So you've got to break it down. Why would it be so bad if you were stuck like this a lot of the time? It wouldn't be unbearable. You can still do everything. You're still managing to do everything. Makes the days a bit tiring, makes the days a bit uncomfortable, but you are getting through everything, even with its presence. And that is key. Now, that takes a while to realize, and that's where all the setbacks and relapses occur, because people then re-feel it again and think, oh my God, I'm never going to get better. I'm feeling it. I'm stuck again. It's feeling so bad. How am I ever going to get out of this? And that is what is keeping the cycle going. And it's only when you when you're really not scared of it anymore, then it releases. But then everyone goes, oh my God, what if I'm never ever going to not be scared of it? How can I not be scared of it? It's inside me. It's playing over and over. I'm never going to not be. And that's the fear of fear. It's a gradual learning process. I've never met anyone who couldn't become unafraid of it. Fear is not some special technique, tactic, or anything like that. It's just learning to make peace with it, learning to see, actually, it's not that scary. So it's the fear of fear. Fear of never being able to get better, fear of never being able to get over it, fear of being stuck forever. That is all that's driving it. That is all that is driving it. But people don't realize that. It is the least known about. Even you can go to OCD specialists all around the world. The amount they know about sensorimotor OCD is very, 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 very limited. Sensorimotor OCD, the main frustration is that people want exposures for it. The exposure is it's internal, it's a sensation that you need to feel. It's coming from the irrational beliefs and seeing, what are you so scared of? What are you so terrified of? That is what's driving it. Seeing that you can still eat food, you can still travel, you can still have sex, you can still have a relationship, you can still go to a concert, all with sensorimotor. I did it for years. I had sensorimotor OCD for a long time. I'm talking years. And it's only when I really looked at what was driving it and started to see, hey, if I wasn't scared, would this still play out? If I wasn't terrified, would this still be present? Now, this is the same as all OCD thoughts, all feelings, anything. Anything with OCD, it's all the same. If I wasn't terrified, would there still be a problem here? And why am I terrified? Is this a fact? Is this a scientific fact? Or is this an illusion? Is there actually no reason to be terrified? Is it just me making it up in my head that it's terrifying? Because I've learnt to see it that way and believed it is. But is it? Is there reality behind it? Whatever it is, whatever the thing is it fact? There's no fact with fears. Always an illusion. I've worked with people with anxiety disorders for years, and I've never ever seen somebody who's so stuck, so treatment resistant, they could never get better. Sensorimotor OCD people always think they're treatment resistant. Oh my God, I've been to 10 therapists, I've been to intensive centres, everything. I'm just completely different, and I hardly ever see anyone with this case. I'm never going to get better, I'm the exception. You ain't the exception, there is no exception. It's just a disorder that has been very misunderstood for years and years and years and years. And because of that, that's why people feel like that, and that's what anxiety gets the grip in. You are not the exception. There is no treatment-resistant cases. Never seen them. Never seen an OCD treatment case in my life. I work with people with the most OCD affecting them the most severely on the planet. I've seen every scenario you can imagine with OCD and every difficult life circumstance brought about by OCD. From people that are homeless with OCD to people that are paralyzed from OCD, from a failed suicide attempt, people that have had serious drug addiction and then recovered from OCD, people that have been in and out of jail and had OCD, people who've been stuck for 40 years, people who've every single thing you can imagine. People with physical damage to their body through OCD compulsions over a very long time until they got better. Every scenario, every weird thought, everything you can imagine. I've never seen a treatment resistant. I've seen people coming from hospitals around the world where they've had failed brain surgeries for OCD. I've seen people who've had suicide attempts that week and have completely given hope on life, and a family have asked me to speak to them to motivate them and turn their whole life around from those points. I've seen people that haven't even left a chair for 10 years. He would been in their house and literally go from the bed to that chair. Everything else is disinfected in the whole house. Now, even that sneeze, you see, somebody can have sensorimotor OCD about that. What if I sneeze and cause myself a brain aneurysm? I cause some kind of clot or something in the brain because I resist a sneeze. That's a common one too. So, you know, there is nothing ever to be terrified of. OCD, it's so easy to this idea of treatment resistant. Yeah, and when I, many years ago, started working with OCD, I thought, God, you're going to be around OCD all the time. You've just got away from this. I'm going to get stuck again. But then I thought, no, we won't get stuck. I thought because it's going towards it is the opposite. People always ask me that. They say, you work with OCD all day long, all day, different cases. You hear all the scary things. I say, yeah, well, it's the best exposure. But it's not an exposure anymore because I couldn't care less if it doesn't bother me in the slightest. Even if OCD came back and latched on and I had 30-40% anxiety for the rest of my life, I wouldn't like it, but it wouldn't be unbearable. Plenty of worse things to have. But when I was locked in it, in false memory, real event OCD, locked for years, feeling terrible all the time. That was real tough times. You know, I've been to the real extents with this disorder. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing this, and I wouldn't be in this position right now if OCD hadn't taken me right to the edge with it. Because I would think, well, it was not. Why do I need to do so much work for OCD? Well, the reason I do so much work to bring OCD out of the dark is because I know how much of an impact it has on people's lives until they have an understanding of it. Now, treatment resistant is a very important point to focus on because people believe in it. And there's a lot of websites that make it out like there are these cases of treatment resistant. I have never seen one. What I've only seen is people that have got irrational beliefs that are subtle, that are under there, that they don't understand. And the people they're working with don't understand it either. And so they've had something scared of it. So they've still been scared of it irrationally, and they just can't budge on that belief. So it took work to get around that and come at it from different angles, but never treatment resistant. I'll have a look at some of these questions quickly today. Fear of never being happy again. Humans aren't happy all the time. Biggest illusion nonsense out there that humans are going to be happy all the time. You're never going to be happy all the time. You're never happy as a kid all the time. Probably hated school at times and so on, but you got past it and you just believe, I've got to be happy all the time, and happiness is a moving target. If you're chasing it like that, it's gone. So it's about learning to be, we don't need to be happy and content. How happy am I right now making this video? Yeah, I'm all right. Not as happy as some other experience I might be having. I really enjoy doing it, but I'm sure I've been happier in my life, but I'm not chasing happiness endlessly. As Momin has just said there, exactly. Best resource for health OCD, probably this page. There's a lot of information on health OCD, especially on the YouTube channel. If you go on the YouTube channel and into playlists, you'll find a lot of things on that. Really good stuff relating to health OCD. I'll do a religious OCD video very soon. I've got that topic noted down to cover. Guys, I'll be back on another Instagram live soon, maybe today actually, covering some other areas of OCD that I need to cover. And yeah, I will be back on probably in the next couple of hours, I think. Yeah. All right, guys, I will see you then. Take it easy.